We all know that high blood pressure is very common. So if you've been recently diagnosed with a blood pressure of like 130 over 80 or 90, then most likely you are hypertensive or you have high blood pressure. Now, the problem with high blood pressure is just like any other chronic conditions like high sugar or high cholesterol is that you actually don't feel anything. So many people who develop high blood pressure actually denies having one. So in general, if you have high blood pressure, it is best that you also screen for yourself for diabetes and high cholesterol because almost always diabetes, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol come in triplets, meaning they go hand in hand. So for today, let me give you some tips on how to help control your blood pressure. Let's review which foods to avoid if you have recently been diagnosed with high blood pressure. Let's watch this. So the number one on my list is actually restaurant foods. Now, we like to go out to restaurants to enjoy with friends. We all know that all restaurant food should be tasty to attract customers, but in general, tasty foods means high in salt. Now, the typical Chinese food, for example, that is very popular in our country is what we call as the bagoong rice or the salted fish fried rice. It might be amazing and yummy, but it's likely full of sodium because of the salted fish. So my advice is that one may still enjoy restaurant food, but if you have a choice to look for low sodium options or ask the chef or the waiter if the chef can make your meal half the usual amount of salt, then that would be better. Now, number two on my list is, of course, the favorite. Most of us, whether children or adults, while watching TV, we love to eat chips and crackers. Now, remember, these foods are called junk foods, not because they're healthy, but because they contain no good nutrients. Most chips and crackers definitely do taste good, but they are rich in salt. If you look at the food label, it's high in salt. Now remember, a 1-ounce serving of plain potato chips, for example, can give you as much as 50 to 200 milligrams of salt. Now, better is to look for alternative snacks like low or no sodium nuts. I usually like peanuts or cashew or pistachios or low salt popcorn or better fruits when sweet cravings come alive. So if you indulge, however, I do say you can do it once in a while, like 2 times a week, and if possible, to a very minimum. Now, number 3 on my list would be the frozen meals. Now, especially during pandemic, frozen foods became a hit because restaurants were closed. Nowadays, in fact, students continue to order frozen foods for easier reheating and viola others food, especially during exam week where they don't want to go out. Yes, they're fast and convenient, but again, they should taste good. And they're also definitely loaded with salt. Now, number 4 on my list to avoid, especially if you have high blood pressure, is of course bread. Now, we know in the Philippines, we love to eat bread. We're carbohydrate eaters. We love to eat bread during snacks or during breakfast. Now, true is that bread is filled with sodium. One slice of white bread, for example, can give you as much as 80 to 200 milligrams of salt. So a way to eat bread in a healthier way is actually to opt for a whole grain bread or an English muffin, which both contains lower sodium. Now, if at all, if you really are a bread eater, then my advice is to eat, for example, a sandwich open face, meaning one sandwich and then you put your egg or your tomato or palaman with just one slice of bread. So it's an open-faced sandwich. As a result, you limit the number of sandwiches or slices of bread on your sandwich. Okay. Now, number 5 is what we are all guilty of, and that is the processed meat. Now, for breakfast, we know Filipinos love hot dogs or bacon or luncheon meat. Now, they are plain and simple processed food. Now, these yummy processed meat have as much as 750 milligrams or more of sodium per serving. Now, plus in general, they are unhealthy as basic foods because they are really not nutritious. They contain no healthy nutrients, especially if we take processed foods on a daily basis. Now, my advice is indulge in them occasionally, like during weekends when you're with your family, when you're relaxed, you have no work, or when you are out and eating buffet breakfast because you're traveling. Of course, you have no choice during hotels or during meetings, but these are occasional cases. Instead, my advice is to please stick to lean cuts of meat or white meat like fish, chicken, and of course, lean cuts of beef or pork. Now, number 6 on my list, and the most famous, which we are guilty of, especially during parties or during meetings, would be the pizza. Now, frozen or freshly made, the pizza is estimated to approximately contain like a 4-ounce slice of frozen pizza, has around 400 to 700 milligrams of sodium, while a 4-ounce slice from a restaurant has even more, at around 500 to 700 milligrams. Now, I advise that if we indulge on pizza, that we opt for thin crusts or with a veggie as toppings. And again, try to indulge occasionally because we don't usually attend parties all the time, right? So during parties with friends, 1 or 2 slices will probably not harm you. Now, number 7 on this list, which I'm not a fan of, is alcohol. Yep, alcohol can actually make your blood pressure rise. So it is best you limit alcohol to no more than 2 drinks a day for men, and for women, keep it to 1. Now, on my number 8 and last on the list is my favorite, actually. It's cheese. Now, remember, not all cheese, however, are created equal, and that you can still enjoy your cheese occasionally. Cheeses that are naturally low in sodium are the preferred ones and include Swiss cheese, which has just 75 milligrams per 1 ounce serving, as well as the goat cheese, ricotta, and the fresh mozzarella cheeses. Now, processed and hard cheeses, such as the American and the cottage cheese, have more sodium and therefore less preferred. Now, in general, please make sure that you check your blood pressure all the time. Any elevation of blood pressure is harmful to your heart and to your kidneys. Please make sure you follow your doctor's instructions in terms of medications. If you have to take your medications, make sure you take them daily because you don't know when your blood pressure will go up depending on the salt that you'll be taking in. So maintaining medications for blood pressure is critical. Again, I hope this short list of common foods that can help raise your blood pressure and therefore avoid them is helpful to you in making you have a very good choice in having a healthier meal the next time, especially during Christmas. For now, continue to eat healthy, stay safe. This is Dr. Jerry Tan. See you again soon.